Good evening. You're watching Independent News. I am Sakhawat Khan. We begin as usual with the headlines. The NHRC chief blames the inaction of the intelligence agencies for the attacks on Buddhist community. BNP leader Maudud Ahmed claims the incident was pre-planned. 13 people have been killed and 25 injured in a head-on collision between a bus and a microbus at South Shurma in Sylhet. Despite the huge demand, a shortage of funds prevents the telephone Shilpo Songstha from producing the Dell laptops on a large scale. The chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Mizanur Rahman, has alleged that the attacks on the Buddhist community took place due to the inaction of intelligence agencies. Meanwhile, head of the BNP-formed probe team, Maudud Ahmed, described the Ramu violence as pre-planned. They both made the comments after visiting different places in Ramu and Cox's Bazar today. Mizanur Rahman also demanded that the law enforcers who failed to thwart the attacks should be punished. Meanwhile, a BNP-formed 8-member probe team also visited Ramu. The team, led by Maudud Ahmed, also included party leaders Abdul Moin Khan, Abdullah Al-Noman and Amir Khusru Mahmood Chaudhry.
We could not even imagine that such incidents can take place. We recorded the statements of many people. We also got some important information. We will also visit several other places. We will prepare a report on the basis of our findings. The report will be published later.
Cultural and social organizations across the country continue to protest the recent attacks on the Buddhist community in Ramu in Cox's Bazar. Yesterday, many organizations held human chain programs on the same issue at several places in the country. In Manikganj, Hindu Buddha Kristan Oikya Porishad, a unity council of the Hindu, Buddhist and Christian communities, organized a human chain program in front of the Manikganj Press Club. A human chain program was held in Gopalganj by the Gano Oikya Porishad. In Faridpur, several organizations staged human chain programs along Mujib Road. Other than these, the Shomolita Sanskriti Jyot organized a human chain program and a rally at the Central Shahid Minar premises. Speakers of the program demanded immediate punishment of the perpetrators of the Ramu incident. "13 people were killed as a microbus collided head-on with a bus on the Dhaka-Sylhet highway today. The accident, which took place around 6 this morning at South Shurma in Sylhet, also left 25 injured. All the deceased were passengers of the microbus. The dead also included several accused in the Dalamia murder case. They were returning home by microbus after getting bail on Thursday. Police blamed the bus driver for the accident. The driver, however, managed to escape. Meanwhile, agitating locals blocked the Dhaka-Sylhet highway in protest for 3 hours after the accident. Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir of the BNP has blamed the government's weak foreign policy for the UAE decision to stop issuing visas to Bangladeshi citizens. The BNP's acting Secretary General made the statement at a program in Dhaka today. In a separate program, BNP leader Mahbubur Rahman said the present government has failed to run the country properly.
Mirza Fakhrul said the recent attacks on Buddhist temples in Ramu are pre-planned by the government. He added that the government is now blaming the opposition for the attack. Fakhrul also blamed the government for the United Arab Emirates deciding to stop the issue of visas to Bangladeshis.
The government's incompetence and corruption are responsible for this situation. The government has put the country into a grave crisis.
At a separate program, BNP leader Mahbubur Rahman said that the government has failed in every sector.
The government has destroyed politics, the economy and law and order in the country. People's lives are very insecure now.
The BNP leaders urged everyone to rally behind the demand for a caretaker government.
Meanwhile, experts fear that the country's manpower export will be badly affected by the United Arab Emirates' decision to stop issuing visas to Bangladeshis. They have urged the government to take immediate and coordinated steps on the matter. We have more in the report.
Bangladeshi workers started going to United Arab Emirates in the mid-1970s. Around 2.1 million Bangladeshis now work in the Middle Eastern country. Last August, the UAE government made visa rules tougher for Bangladeshi workers. But recently, it completely stopped issuing visas to Bangladeshis. However, a UAE government officer in a news report published on Thursday said that the measure is not permanent. But Bangladeshi manpower exporters are skeptical about this.
Neither the Qatari nor the Saudi government admit that they have stopped issuing visas. But we cannot sit idle. We need to do something.
Around 2,000 businessmen go to the UAE every month on visit visas to attend different exhibitions.
60 to 70% of the passengers who go to the UAE on visit visas are businessmen. If they stop issuing visit visas, that is indeed bad news for Bangladesh.
The decision will also hit the businesses of 8 airlines including Bangladesh Biman that largely depend on workers and businessmen who used to travel to UAE regularly.
The country has been witnessing unusually heavy monsoon rain. The meteorological department, however, said that the rain will reduce to normal within a few days. Although some areas in the country went underwater, the Flood Forecasting and Warning Center, or FFWC, said that the rain will not cause any major flooding in the country. The unusually heavy rains have inundated several low-lying areas in Kurigram, Lalmonirhat, Sylhet, Mymensingh and Sherpur. Farmers are concerned because a huge area of farmland has become inundated by rainwater. However, the FFWC rejected concerns of floods. The centre said that the water level in most rivers, except the Meghna, is decreasing at a reasonable rate. Meanwhile, heavy rains since Thursday night have inundated a huge area of low-lying land in Chittagong. Problems for residents of the port city are compounded because of the unplanned digging of roads and because of waterlogging as a consequence. 2 people were reportedly electrocuted to death in the city. Low-lying areas such as Agrabad, Halishohor, Chowk Bazar, Muradpur went underwater in the city. The transportation system has also collapsed there. Meanwhile, the unplanned digging of roads continues in Chittagong, leading to the waterlogging. The loading and unloading of goods was halted at the outer anchorage in Chittagong port because of heavy rain. There is a huge demand for the Dell laptop computer being produced in the country, but a shortage of capital is preventing the producer, the state-owned Telefon Shilpo Songstha, from going into larger production. The company's sales and marketing efforts are also inadequate. The laptop is sold from only 2 outlets in the country.
The state-owned Telefon Shilpo Songstha, or TESIS, started producing the Dell laptop computer in August of last year. The basic model of the laptop costs only 10,000 taka. While a large demand for the laptop has been created, these cannot be bought from regular computer vendors. They are only sold from a special sales center at Ramna in the capital and from the TESIS production factory in Tongi.
We'll open 2 more sales centers by December. We will also set up 6 sales and distribution offices in 6 divisional cities besides the capital. We also plan to recruit some more engineers.
ওই অফিসের মাধ্যমে আমরা কিছু লোকও রিক্রুট করার জন্য চেষ্টা করতেছি। বাই দিস টাইম কিছু ইঞ্জিনিয়ার রিক্রুট করব।
Like many other renowned laptop manufacturers, the TeSys also imports around 140 components from China. The company has so far sold 18,000 Dell laptops with an average profit of 1,000 taka per unit. The production began by forming a joint venture with a foreign company, but now TeSys produces the laptop by itself, and this has created a fund crisis for the company.
Honorable Minister Shahara Khatun came here a few days ago. She told us that our financial problem will be solved with support from other ministries. But the government has many other programs, and it is possible that we are not very high on the government's list of priorities.
Only 70 people are engaged in producing Dell laptops. It takes 3 minutes to produce one laptop at the production line. But due to a shortage of components, the production capacity cannot be utilized to the utmost.
The Communications Minister has visited the Pagla area on the old Dhaka-Narayanganj road. He visited the area around noon today. During the visit, the minister expressed dissatisfaction over the dilapidated road and illegal parking on the road. Later, the minister talked to local transport leaders about ways to reduce traffic congestion. Obaidul Qadir also visited the site for a truck terminal, which is to be built in the area. We continue with the news now, but that is with Adnan Hussain. Adnan, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you. Bangladesh observed World Teachers' Day today. With the slogan, "We are for education, we stand by the teachers." A rally of teachers marched the main streets of Norail this morning to mark the day. The rally finally ended at the Norail Upazila Parishad teachers of Gopalganj brought out a procession to mark the day and to push a 17-point demand. Non-government middle school teachers of the district participated in the program today. Educationists say that the issue of the autonomy in public universities should not be linked to universities being economically self-reliant. They, however, say that universities should gradually reduce their dependence on the government funding. They advise universities to increase income through alternative means other than increasing education fees.
17 public universities in the country are dependent on government grants. The 2012-13 fiscal year budget has a 14.4 billion taka allocation for public universities. But the government plans to reduce this budget. The Prime Minister, in a recent speech, said that public universities will be given further autonomy if they can reduce their dependence on government funding.
You will be able to fully exercise the autonomy that was given to you by the Father of Nation in 1973.
Shahid Akhtar Hussain, a professor at Dhaka University, said he somewhat agrees with the Prime Minister's statement.
They must become self-reliant. Costs will also increase. It is no longer possible to provide quality education free of charge or at a low cost.
Former Dhaka University Vice Chancellor S.M. Faiz says public universities need to reduce dependency on government grants. He, however, added that the level of autonomy of universities should not be linked to their financial dependency on grants.
Without autonomy, a university is never a university. We have to keep that in mind. If universities can become self-reliant, the government will have a chance to establish new universities.
SMFI said that a large number of students being admitted to public universities come from a low-income background. If fees are increased, it will be difficult for these students to get higher education.
The first initiative must come from the government, then from the corporate world and alumni. But it should not affect the students.
Many industrialists in the country are billionaires. If they jointly create a 5 billion taka fund for the Dhaka University, the pressure on the government will reduce and our students will not need to pay higher fees.
They say that it will create more problem if only the tuition fees are increased without looking for alternative sources of income.
There's been a large influx of customers at the capital's Malibag retail market. The market has recently been declared formalin-free. There are customers not only from neighboring areas, but many from distant parts of the city as well to buy formalin-free groceries. The price of fish is a bit higher in this market, but customers say they're willing to pay more if the fish are indeed formalin-free. Here's more on the report.
This test is to see if there is any formalin in the fish. The Business Association of Malibag Bazaar only allows fish shipments into the market after testing and ensuring that the fish are formalin-free. The association took the initiative after the FBCCI announced the market formalin-free.
We check the fish and allow only the formalin-free ones into the market. We throw away the fish that are treated with formalin.
Customers across the country are worried about the use of formalin in fish. Customers are flocking to the Malibag market after the FBCCI declared the market to be formalin-free. On weekends, the market is overcrowded. Customers do not mind traveling long distances to buy products that are not adulterated.
Not only the fish, we should also see if formalin is being used in meat.
It is a good initiative. The price is a bit high, but still I feel comfortable shopping here because I don't have to worry about formalin being used on products.
More customers, more sales, so the sellers are also happy.
More and more people are coming to shop since we are selling formalin-free goods.
The FBCCI said that 10 markets in the city will soon be formalin-free. The FBCCI gave the assurance that in this way customers can shop without anxiety.
Sports news now. Australia and the West Indies are currently in a tight semi-final brawl to book the remaining spot in the finals of the ICC World 2020. The match is being played at the Premadasa International Stadium in Colombo. Winning the toss to bat first, the Caribbeans have so far scored 74 runs from 10 overs for the loss of 2 wickets. The two teams have a historic rivalry, and both of them will look forward to trump each other, a guarantee for the breathtaking semi-finals at the concluding part of the tournament. All eyes will be glued on blasting Caribbean batsman Chris Gayle and his in-form Aussie all-rounder Shane Watson, as either of these two players can change the flow of the game single-handedly. Australian skipper George Bailey, however, is very wary of the Gayle factor, but was also confident about his teammates' chance of reaching the finals and clinching their first T20 trophy. That's all from me now. Anything that you have to add, Sakhavat?
We have time for anything else. But you can get more news and updates from independent television through your mobile phones. For breaking news, go to your mobile message option, type stop space B and send to 16232. For daily news updates, type stop space DN and send to 16232. You can also call 16232 from any operator to listen to the latest headlines in Bangla. That's all we have for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at our usual time of 8 p.m. Thank you for being with us. Good night.
A very good night.